Hi everybody. So day 14 of my 66 day challenge, do the right thing. Today was a really good day. Surprisingly so, to be honest, because there was several experiences where I had a similar kind of desire and intention to kind of procrastinate that I had a couple of days ago when I didn't do so well. So um, it was really interesting because as soon as I kind of noticed that, I would just ask myself, am I the person that does this? And that really, like, it just, for me at least, it just keeps me on track. It just really keeps me on track because it's almost kind of an obligation to my future self, and kind of an an obligation to be the person that I want to be in like an interesting way. It's almost kind of like negotiating with the future, and it's kind of like I owe it to my future self to do the right thing now, so I don't end up in the hell of not fulfilling my potential, which is quite a powerful motivator, weirdly enough. But yeah, so I think I'm going to continue trying the um, is this me? Am I the person that does this? Kind of questioning line as I go forward. And I did something really interesting yesterday before I went to sleep, and I'm going to do the same again today. So it was effectively just writing down who I was in that day. So just kind of using ideally like single words to describe like who I was. So things um, like a teacher was one, or a friend or something to some of my friends, that kind of thing. So it's kind of the different activities that I do, the title that would go along with that, and then um, the ones that I'd like to be in the future and the ones that I'd not like to be. I classified all of those. So it was things like I want to become a runner, even though at the moment I think maybe I'm more of like a casual runner, like not quite there, but doing it more regularly, and kind of that becoming part of my routine, as well as other things. So, for example, um, I'd really like to get more into coding and development, and um, especially like the architecture side of like designing things. I think that seems really interesting to me. Um, and so like maybe there was some titles in that, as well as um, things like leader and inspire, that sort of thing, as well as explorer and adventurer. I think those ones are really cool. And then the ones that I don't want to be. So I think like a consumer is is something that maybe I'm disinclined to follow. Similarly with like gamer, even though like I'm not saying that they are negative titles to hold, and I don't think that I'll never hold them, nor would I aim to never hold them. It's just that um, I want my dominant titles, almost my dominant identities, to not be those things. Whereas in the past, I'd say perhaps I would have identified as like within those groups, um, but I'm not sure that those groups are groups that I'd like to identify with in the future. So as a result, like I need to change what I identify with in the moment every day, in order to then be able to be in the future and not identify with those things, if that makes sense. Because I think it was Aristotle said that you are what you repeatedly do. So it's very, very important for me to build on like the identities that I want to do with according actions. Um, so yeah, I think that's really a fascinating thing, and I think as well just kind of compressing down the journaling activity. It was just who I was today, titles, and who I want to be tomorrow, and the titles that I'd like to have kind of the next day. Going to continue on with that. Seems really powerful. Seems really good. Um, and it's kind of like the things that I should do tomorrow, but it's phrased in a way more powerful way. I think for me, like for example, tomorrow I need to finish writing an exam paper um, for my students, and that's fine to do that. But having the task just as like write exam paper is one thing, but it's like if I have that written, it's the exact same task, but if I have that written as be an exam author or something like that, that's much more powerful to me. It's kind of like the identity. I need to fulfill that identity. I need to put those shoes on and roll with it. So I think it's something quite like it's a small shift, but it really does feel like there's an element of profundity to it. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's all I think. Basically, did lots of work. Did some really interesting progress with coding. Doing some Python things and made some really interesting progress with that. As and when things develop there, I'll like speak more about it. But I feel like I'm like nowhere close to even having anything to be able to share in terms of that at the moment. I'm more at like the early research stage of developing some things, but we'll certainly see how it goes, and it could be quite cool if I can pull some stuff off, but it'll be a long time before I'm able to do that. But nevertheless, today there was a good step towards figuring things out and working out how things will kind of work. But nevertheless, good day. Tomorrow hopefully is going to be another good one. Using this identity question, I'm sure it will be, because I'm just going to be that person. I'm going to be the person that I want to be. And if I ever catch myself not being that person, then that's not me. And so I shouldn't be doing those things. And it's kind of it's almost similar in some sense to the initial sort of feeling that I had when I first started this challenge, where there was like no choice. Whereas now I feel like there is a choice, but it's now that I'm making the right choice, rather than before it was like there's no choice, I just have to do the right thing. So it's just kind of, yeah, it's quite an interesting one. It's kind of so it's kind of developed from there being no choice to now there being a choice, but me picking the right one, and like that's kind of the same result as there being no choice, and I just have to pick the good thing. But it's definitely better. I feel like it's much more aware and much more kind of realistic, I suppose, and kind of longer term potentially, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, thanks all for watching. Hope everyone's doing great. See you all tomorrow. Bye.